All right, let's get into that inflation issue. Bureau Statistics, economic update. We saw those numbers today. Inflation has soared from 3.5 to 5.1%, the highest increase since 2001. It's hit every sector. Transport up 4.2%, housing 2.7%, health hit by 2.3%. The consumer price index also had a spike, 2.1%'s the lift there. For his analysis, let's bring in Terry McCrann. I think, interestingly, Terry, I also want to mention there too, we had fuel up 11%, which is huge. Give us your thoughts on the increase today and the likelihood that we'll see a rate rise next week. I know it'll be in the next 2 months, but will it be inside the campaign? And if it is inside the campaign, what's the sort of political fallout, do you think?
Peter, this inflation has been building for some time. It's not just about petrol. It's not just about the consequences of the war in Ukraine, the impact that's had on petrol, gas, and also food prices, because it's had a big impact on the price of wheat. This inflation has been building for some time as we've come out of the COVID lockdowns. And you look at what's happened in the United States, where inflation in the United States was over 5% a year ago, and it's been accelerating all year, and we've seen the same thing in New Zealand, we've seen the same thing in Europe. This is an inflation that is not something that is just going to go away when hopefully, let's pray that the war in Ukraine ends effectively. This is something that's going to be, the really dangerous prospect of this inflation is that it does feed into wages, given the tightness of the labour market. It's great to have unemployment rate at 4%. Just to remind the opposition leader if he's watching, it's great to have it at 4%. It's great if it would go down into the threes, and it probably will. We'll get another jobless number just before the vote in May. It'll probably be below 4. But the price of that is that wages are going to go up, which is, again, good for workers, but it means that you run the risk of locking in a wages prices spiral, the sort of thing we really haven't seen since the 1980s, and that's a really, really serious worry. I don't want to see interest rates go back to double digits. I don't want to see mortgage rates go up to 10%. And unless the Reserve Bank acts quickly to nip this in the bud and to at least stop further inflation rise as we go through 2022, that's the prospect that we really face. So it needs to move next week. I think it will move next week, but it's probably also going to move in June as well.